Hi there, and welcome to a basic beginner flow yoga class. So many benefits of practicing yoga regularly will come your way if you commit to stepping on your mat for even a little bit every day. Even a few minutes makes a huge difference. Increase strength, increase joint mobility, increase flexibility, and you can go on and on. So please commit to a regular yoga practice and start with me today on the mat, standing up. See you there in a second. Let's start standing on your yoga mat, and you're going to start at the top of your mat facing forward like this. So I'm going to start facing you so that you can see as I demonstrate this foundational posture of Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing nice and tall, soften your knees. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes and notice how your feet feel on the ground. Rock into the balls of the feet, feel your toes grip. Rock back into your heels, and then rock forward, shifting the weight forward and back, and feeling how that very subtle movement begins to chain all the way up into your knees, up into your hips, up through your spine, right through the crown of the head. Find a place kind of in between those two forward and back movements where you feel the four corners of the feet beginning to press a little more firmly. And you can connect to that press a little more by lifting and spreading your toes out. Take a peek down and notice, does one foot travel out a little more than the other? Maybe the toes are knocking in. Notice and adjust your feet so that the second toes are about parallel. Let the toes drop down, and then notice your knees. If your knees are knocking in or out, make the knees aligned right about over your second toe, and then begin to straighten the legs. Allow the tailbone to naturally drop down right between the heels, and feel a little lift of the center chest, as if the center of your chest is lifting right up under your chin, right up through the base of the skull toward the sky. And then the fingertips lightly reach for the outer heels, and we stand tall like a mountain, Tadasana. Now, from that space, when you inhale, sweep the arms overhead. So we inhale on these big opening movements, looking up, palms press. Exhale, let the arms come down alongside the body and bend your knees a little bit. And we'll do that a couple times. Inhale, press through the feet, reach up, palms press. Exhale, arms drape down, all the way down. And so we're linking the movement with the breath, reaching up on the inhale. Exhale, melting the arms down. And inhale. And exhale. Good. Little bend in the knees. Take your hands to your hips. Now, go ahead and bend your knees quite a bit and begin to bring your belly down over the thighs. And let your hands spill down. The hands can come down toward your outer calf or toward the heel or toward the floor. And please start with bending your knees really generously to start to melt the belly over the thighs and let your head go. And then we'll make it a flow practice by pressing through the feet. Start to lift your belly and inhale, reach the arms out and up. Just this simple movement. So strengthening for your torso. And exhale, slowly fold for the duration of your exhale. So we start to smooth out the inhale as you reach the arms overhead. And one more exhale. It's a swan dive down, bending your knees pretty generously. Good. And then come up to stand. Take your hands on your hips. Take your hands on your hips, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose with hands on hips. Shift into your right foot and just hover your left foot off the ground for a moment. Then slowly release your left foot right back down where it was. We'll challenge our balance a little bit in that way. Peeling that right foot off the ground for a moment. Then place that right foot right back down, right where it was. And one more time, peel that left foot up. Slowly place it down. Peel that right foot up. Engage your lower belly. And release that right foot down. Last time, left foot up. And release that left foot down. Keeping hands on the hips. We're going to take one big step back with your left foot, coming into a warrior two. In warrior two position, the left toes, the back toes, are turned in at about a 45 degree. And the right toes are pointing straight ahead. Bend your right knee. The right knee is over the heel. Good. And you want to wrap that right knee open over the toes, and then open your arms out to a T. Look at your left fingertips and see that the left fingertips are on the same plane with your right fingertips. And hold there with your gaze over the right fingertips. If this is way too intense for you, you could take a little bit of a shorter stance and still have a beautiful warrior posture. It's a very strengthening, empowering, strong posture. So the gaze is very soft. And then slowly straighten that front leg. Take your hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in, your right heel out, and find this wide-legged stance. Now, let's take a back bend. Interlace your hands back behind you. I'll turn around so you can see me, because I'm not fancy enough to have different camera angles at this point. Interlace the fingers and drop the knuckles and lift your chest up. Keep rooting through the outside edges of the feet. Whatever amount, you don't have to force or overdo. We always want to feel a sense of ease in your effort. Effortless effort. Good. Take one more inhale. Exhale, come back to neutral. And then turn your left toes to point toward the back of your mat. Bend your left knee. Adjust your feet so that it's heel to heel alignment. Those right toes are turned in. The right inner thigh lifts up into the body. Then open your arms to a T and look over the left fingertips. Wrap your left knee open. And drop down a little more. Lift your side ribs. And then straighten that front leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. When you exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Turn your left toes in, your left heel out. Find your wide-legged stance. Then take your hands back onto your hips. Press those feet into the floor. Then turn your right toes toward the front of your mat. Bend your right knee. Press through your right foot and go ahead and take a big step forward. So we're back in Tadasana, facing the front of your mat. Then bend your knees quite a bit. Plant your palms on the ground, and let's step back into a tabletop position. In your tabletop position, fan the fingers wide. Look down, see that your first fingers are parallel. So the fingertips turn a little bit out toward the outside edges of your mat. And then you really want to fan, again, those fingers really wide and spread the knuckles and press the pads of the fingers. Soften your elbows a little bit. Now we'll move into that flow. On the inhale, belly drops, look forward, look up. On the exhale, you scoop the tail and round. We're moving through this flowing sequence. That's all that flow means, is that you're moving the body with the breath any chance you get. Inhale and then exhale. And every now and then, even in a flow practice, there are moments to pause. So next time you round, pause and take a full inhale in the back ribs, and then tuck your toes. Send your hips toward your heels. Now, if this isn't something you do that often, this might feel very uncomfortable. If it's way too much for you, take your feet flat. It's okay. Try to tuck your toes, and you're going to press the sitting bones straight back and walk your hands forward, coming into child's pose. Then let's flow in and out. Inhale, glide forward, possibly look up. Then exhale, slowly send the hips back and press the hands away from the knees. Inhale, waving forward. And exhale, belly in, press back. Now inhale, come forward. When you exhale next, we're lifting the knees and send the sitting bones up for a moment in downward dog, and then come back down onto your knees. Give it a moment to rest. Lift your right wrist, lift your left wrist to release the pressure. And then send the hips back, lift the knees, come on up again, and let the head go. I want to show this different angle for downward dog hands. So really fan those fingers wide. Again, see that those two first fingers are parallel. And then drop your elbows down. And you're going to lift the knees and come on up to downward dog. So the biceps are squeezing in toward the ears, and you lift the sitting bones up. And there's a nice line from back of head to tail. And then slowly come back down. Now look between your thumbs and snake yourself forward. Make your way onto your belly. Take your feet flat. Reach your arms around, and we'll take easy locust pose. and a flow. On the inhale, lift up, lift your heels, reach your fingers back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up, reach, fingers, toes back. Exhale, lower down. Root through the pelvis, inhale, look forward. Exhale, lower down. Take your palms right under your elbows, hug your elbows in, tuck your toes, press up into tabletop. Then from tabletop, let's swing the ankles underneath, bring your legs around, and let's sit in a cross-legged seat. Cross one ankle on top of the other. Sit up really tall. Reach your arms out. Inhale, open your chest, look up. Exhale, round, bring your palms in, and a light press. Inhale, let the knees spill open, palms up, look up, and then exhale, come in and press. Inhale, open, exhale, squeeze the knees in, press, uncross, cross your other ankle on top. Inhale, open. When you exhale, take a cactus, bring your pinkies in, your elbows in, and squeeze your knees in. Then inhale, open, and exhale. Just getting connected to the center midline of the body and moving the body with the breath. Exhale. You're doing a great job if you're still with me. Thanks for staying with me. Exhale in. And then release. Remember, if you're just breathing and feeling good, you're practicing yoga. Go ahead and make your way onto the back. Come all the way down onto the back. When you're on the back, hug your right knee in toward your side waist. Take your hands in the knee crease and gently draw that right thigh in toward your side body. And then release that right leg out straight. Hug your left knee in, hand in the thigh, in the knee crease. Draw that left thigh toward you. And then release the left leg out straight. Reach both arms overhead. Take a full inhale. Exhale, let the arms come down alongside the body. Step 1 foot at a time on the floor. Your feet are on the floor hip width distance apart, just like they would be in a mountain pose that we taught earlier. Spread the toes, root through the feet, lift the hips and pelvis any amount to a little bridge back bend with your palms facing down for this. Fan your fingers out wide and try to replicate the downward dog hands, pressing the hands away from the shoulders and drag the chest toward the chin. Inhale, exhale, lower down, upper back, middle back, lower back. 2 more times in that simple flow. On the inhale, lift up, chest toward chin. Exhale through the nose, slowly lowering down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering down. All the way down till the lower back rests. And take your arms out to cactus arms. Take the feet wide apart and windshield wiper your knees from side to side so you wring out your lower back. Then gently hug the knees in, give a little squeeze, and extend one leg out and the other leg out. And you're finding the final posture of a yoga practice is Shavasana. So what separates yoga from other forms of exercise is that there's a meditation component to it, in addition to many people accessing a spiritual component. It can be just exercise, and that's totally fine. But if it's possible, resting in this meditation where you close your eyes and scan your body with your mind's eye and notice any feelings of tension. If your back is too tender to lay with the legs straight, have your feet mat width distance apart and let the knees knock in to touch. And that can kind of soothe any pulling you might feel on your lower back. Sometimes resting in Shavasana is the hardest thing to do because your mind wants to wander off. Try to stay and linger. Linger a little more past the urge to move out of the pose. And then start to wiggle your fingers. If you really are having a nice time laying on your back, feel free to stay there. Any time is a good time to lay and rest on the back and relax. When you're ready, go ahead and roll over onto your left side just for a moment and then slowly make your way up. And let's meet up again. And we'll meet up in a comfortable seat, cross-legged seat. Try to cross your non-habitual ankle on top, the ankle that you don't normally cross on top. Rest your hands on your knees. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it out your mouth. Bring your hands together, Anjali Mudra. Press the heels of the hands together and connect the thumbs to the sternum. Thanking yourself for your effort. Remember, even just a little bit of yoga every day goes a super long way toward improving your sense of well-being, health, and other positive benefits I mentioned earlier. Look forward to seeing you again. Wishing you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, trust on the journey. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you like this video.